fine on my end. OBS looked like it was fine. All right, it's back up. Okay,
Okay, right.
refresh. I'm back up. All right. Okay. I don't know, guys. Everything was fine on this end. OBS was still streaming. OBS was still connected. Just Twitch just wasn't broadcasting me. I don't know what to tell you.
It's well and truly been one of those days, my friend.
Yeah. So to jump right back into the point, because we do have limited time, what I was saying is it would be very easy for Blizzard to assign a point value to every card, right? Say, okay, this card's worth 50 points, etc., right?
Yep.
And they can even adjust it on the fly if if they notice, hey, Void Lord's getting played in every single Warlock deck. Let's change its power value from 100 to 125 or what have you.
Yep.
Why not have a format where people have 1,000 points and they can build a deck and every card, draws from that pool and that's it, Or,
Yeah.
1,000 points is just sort of a throw-out number there.
Yeah.
And then you force people to go, I can have these 10 super, super powerful cards, but if I do that, then I'm going to have to put in some pack filler.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it.
It seems like there's a lot of ways they could make the game a lot more dynamic, but I'll tell you why they never want to do that.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
They want people to buy all of the packs so that they get all the rares and the legendaries and the overpowered broken cards, and that's what Blizzard wants.
That is true. But one thing that I will say about that is that I think Blizzard are starting to realize that the success that they have with Hearthstone isn't going to last forever if they keep pissing off the community, basically. Because the one thing that I noticed is with this pre-order bundle, because there's always like a pre-order thing when a new expansion gets released. There's a 20 card bonus now for the same price, and there's a new single player game as well, as there was last time. Now, maybe I'm looking a bit too much into things, but that to me is the sign of a company that's actually starting to go, okay, this is not gonna last forever. We need to actually start incentivizing people to get this, because I don't know what their numbers are. It's a private company. I don't think we can look at that directly, but
we can't.
No, but I would imagine that they're probably because I hate to make every single company sound completely heartless, but it is about making money at the end of the day. Like that is just a fact.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't just offer 20 bonus packs just because, for the shits and giggles, would they? Like there must be a business plan behind that, which I think is ultimately a good thing. I really do. I think it's good. Maybe they've seen Valve's card game. Maybe they've noticed the other one's getting a little bit more popular. Maybe they've noticed people starting to just go away from Hearthstone. I don't know, but it's I think it's good ultimately. But the other thing with Hearthstone as well, in regards to what you were saying before, like about how there's like many ways they can optimize the game, is that I tend to forget that Hearthstone's not even been around for 5 years. Like it's a very young game. Like is it 4 years or is it 5 years now? Like it's not long.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Because you can count on one hand the number of popular games that are very popular and very big that are more than 6 or 8 months old. Think about it. How many games are there that are multi-year games that are extremely popular, that are still being played, and that are several years old? You got League of Legends, you've got Hearthstone, you've got CSGO. Help me out. I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's World of Warcraft, I guess. I mean, that's still reasonably popular, like Dawn of the Ancients. Minecraft. I mean, it's just I get what you're saying to a degree, but I totally buy the company line from Blizzard that Hearthstone really wasn't expect this to happen. Like Hearthstone was basically just going to be a game that you took when you were on the toilet.
Yeah.
Sorry, a game that you played when you were on the toilet.
Yeah.
Like that seemed like I think that's just completely plausible. Basically, like I just don't think when they started the game, they actually thought that there was going to be such a thing as like, you know, Exodia Mage and stuff like that. Like, I don't think they saw that coming at all. It was like, oh shit, this is actually getting massive traction. We need to start throwing other things in there. So I think a lot of this has just been kind of like a fumble in the dark, basically. They're just kind of they're staggering forward, and Blizzard are listening to the community. They are making changes. It's just really slow, really, really slow to do anything. And I think that's partly why, because they don't quite know how to handle this monster that they've created, basically.
Well, I think that it's really slow, but it's also very well paced. Like, they know their bottom line. As you said, we don't have any idea of their numbers. We don't have any sense of that. I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think they know exactly what their business model is. I think they know exactly what their audience is. That being said, we have the Rat King said, going back to what I was saying about the point buy format for Hearthstone, he says, you're going to still fall into a stale meta. That again goes back to what I said about a possible cube format where it rotates every 4 months, and that falls right in the middle of each expansion cycle. You'll still get a stale meta towards the end of every 2 months, window. Yeah. But then you're dealing with maybe a month of a stale meta instead of 3 months. I think that would be a big difference. And thank you very much to LeChuck for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, brother. LeChuck, by the way, European Hearthstone player. I don't know if he still streams very much, but the first time I ever stopped in, he was, he was like rank 120 legend. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Okay.
Super casual about it.
Yeah, just like no pressure, no stress, just whatever. I'm sitting there at rank 18, like, oh god, I hope this guy doesn't have whatever. And he's like, oh, this guy's going to play an ice block here. Okay, all right, well, I'll do this and pop the block. And I'm like, zen chill that dude.
Here's me losing my mind, almost getting to rank 3 today. Almost, not quite rank 3, but yeah, the push to legends is probably going to happen this month. I'm glad to say, because of the way they changed the ladder format. Basically, they made it a lot less of a grind and a lot less bloody excruciating. So another change that they made, which was very welcome.
I'm fantastically pleased for you. I'm fantastic that you're making that grind. I did, maybe I think in my life, I did 2, okay, I'm going to grind this month. Twice. Yeah. And I think the highest I ever got was rank 8. And I was like, you know what? I like Hearthstone, but I don't like grinding. And what? So what? So let's say I get Legend and I get a new card back. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been a thing that it's just been on my to-do list for a really long time. So I just want to get Legend and then go from there, basically. But I don't know. I can't quite explain what exactly the appeal is for Hearthstone for me personally. I don't know. It's got a certain quality about it. Like, I don't think I could be more vague there if I tried. But it just there's a certain feel and charm to Hearthstone that no other game at all, actually, in the last couple of years has been able to emulate. So, yeah.
I think LeChuck brings up a great point. He'd love to see a classic mode for the game. And I think that that's something that would be interesting, but I wonder about how long a format like that would stay viable. So they did something like that with one of the Tavern Brawls recently.
Yes,
and I thought that was really neat. It was like, hey, we're going back to vanilla here, and you can only choose vanilla minions and only vanilla cards, and it was neat. But after playing it for 2 or 3 days, I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this. So I think that's an interesting idea that LeChuck brings up, but I don't know the long-term viability of something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to make a game. It's difficult to make any game like consistently fresh every 30, maybe 60 days or something. You know what I mean? Like that's a really, really big challenge. For any game. I mean, if you're playing like Street Fighter 5, like I used to play, I've not played it for ages, but I mean, you're going to see the same characters over and over and over again. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? So like freshness is never an issue there. But the main thing in Hearthstone, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but I think it's an important point, is that there's such a tiny fraction of the cards that are actually used.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like it just seems like a waste. Like if they could get just an extra month of freshness out of just using all of the other cards in some kind of way, then just fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it, because like the cards don't print themselves. The artwork doesn't get done by itself. You know what I mean? Like someone has it, like, you know, as manpower that goes into making those cards, and then it's just like, you open it, Crypt previews it, you and me preview it, and then that's it. The card's never seen again. Like, what is the point in that? It seems like a massive waste. It really does.
Like Worgen Greaser, for example. When was the last time you gave even a single neuron firing in your brain's worth of thought to Worgen Greaser?
Yeah, exactly.
It was it was one of those cards. It was in Gadget Zan, and it's like, okay, that's a card that exists, and it's basically Magma Ranger. Who cares? It's a nothing card.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is as well is that Crip said this recently, that the Arena was, for some intents and purposes, Arena was that game mode that we're kind of talking about. You know what I mean? Like, because you had to draft cards, and sometimes you had to just draft like utter crap and just try and make it work in Arena. Cards like Worgen Greaser that you would never use. You know, you'd never use the standard because the power level isn't, you know, it's not high enough. But Arena's kind of changed into just, I'm not going to call Arena standard, but I've been playing it a little bit, and it's pretty crazy right now with the new way it's done. And yeah, it just seems like a horrible waste to have all these cool cards with, because there's a lot of cards from Hearthstone that are in standard, and I've never even heard the sound that it makes when you play it or when you attack with it. Never. Like, absolutely no way. There's no chance I will. You know what I mean? And probably never will, unless they actually, like, you know, release some kind of a, you know, like the cube format, like you said, or something like that. It does seem like it seems like a shame. But saying that, I'll be playing Hearthstone tomorrow.
Yeah.
For, you know, a good number of hours. So
well, like, here's a good question. What's the sound that Auction Master Beardo makes when he attacks? Does anyone even know?
I've got absolutely no idea. I think that card's only played in OTK Paladin, I think.
Yeah. And again, I apologize to anyone watching for the green screen issues. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know.
It's well and truly been one of those days for you, man. It really has.
Speaking of Arena, I have my idea for Arena. This is what they do. You ready? Your first draft in Arena is guaranteed legendary, no matter what. 100%. Your first pick in Arena is always legendary, and then that's it. You don't get any other legendaries.
Right.
Period. End of story. From there on out, it's standard like Arena draft, but no more legendaries. And I think the reason why they should do that is because legendaries can really be deck defining in the sense that they can really define what you want to do. And if you get your legendary pick as card number 20, you're like, well, shit. If I had drafted dragons previous to now, I would take this, but, you know, or, you know, what have you. There's a problem with synergy when you get a legendary pick late in the game. Also, I'll tell you another thing I would do. You ready? I would make Arena full-time wild, and you pick, instead of being given 3 cards to choose, you have 5 cards to choose from, and you pick 2. And I think what that would do is that would create a better pool of choices and force you to take some suboptimal cards. It's not always just pick the best card, pick the best card, pick the best card, pick the best card, pick the best card. Oh, both of these are good. What fits better in my deck archetype? Probably this one. Okay, pick the best card, pick the best card. Like, Arena can get very boring. I love watching people draft Arena.
Yep.
But that being said, like there's so often it's just like these are just no brainers. It's that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that. Oh, I got to think about this one. Well, I guess this one. Okay, it's like you come down to making like 3 choices out of 30 in your entire draft.
Yeah, I mean, the way they've changed Arena recently is that the drafts have become a lot, in my opinion anyway, the drafts have become a lot more interesting, like way more interesting, because they're now within like 10 or whatever on the tier ratings of each other. So even with Hearth Arena now, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty, that is, it's pretty difficult, but the power levels spike to just a ridiculous degree as well in Arena, so it kind of just feels a bit like constructed.
Yeah.
No, that was the impression. That was the impression that people, because I don't play that much Arena, but that's what I've heard of people that do, and that was the impression that I got from playing like the little bit of Arena that I've done. It's like the power level was just way higher, and it didn't really feel like Arena anymore, which kind of, it's not good, basically. Well, it's not good.
I think Blizzard even addressed the fact that Lich King was coming up way too often, and someone was saying like, yeah, there's at least one Lich King in every deck in Arena. Like it was just it was coming up every draft, which obviously that's a problem.
Yeah, and there's no limit as well. I've never quite been able to understand why there's like no hard limit on how many cards you can have in Arena. Like, how many copies of the same card? So like, if it's like, I don't see, like, okay, maybe not 2. Maybe there's some kind of mathematical reason or something why it needs to be more than 2. But does it need? But it could probably be less than 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like if some guy just has 5 Deathwings, he's probably gonna win. Like it's very improbable that you'll get 5 Deathwings, but I mean, like, but like 4 like Blizzards or something, 4 whatever. It's just.
How about the Mage Rune? What's it called?
Explosive runes.
No, the glyph one. That lets you.
Primordial Glyph.
Primordial Glyph. Thank you. Yeah. If you're playing Arena and you come up against a mage who managed to draft 5 of those, which is not unforeseen, especially when that was the current expansion.
Yeah.
What can you do? There's nothing you can do.
Well, what are you playing around? What are you playing around? You're playing around basically every single spell that Mage has to offer, which is a varied amount of spells. Yeah. So you're not playing around anything. So it's stripped all the all the skill away from it, and it just makes it a dice roll, which is bad. Yeah, I agree.
And we've only got a couple minutes left, so I want to kind of bring this all back together.
Sure.
And I think and they noticed that was a problem, and they lowered the occurrence bonus of Primordial Glyph in Arena when they noticed that. Now, to bring that up to where we are currently with, what is it, Wormwood? No, Witchwood. The cards they've shown us are concerning to me. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why. The 2 legendaries, one that does X if you have odd cards, and one that does Y if you have even cards in your deck. Then they've shown us some other cards like, a priest card if you have only even cards. The health of all your minions in your deck is doubled at the start of the game.
Yeah, that's the exact one that I've got a problem with. That glitter moth, dude, that could potentially be totally broken, in my opinion.
First of all, not only is it broken, but on top of it, unless there's something coming out that we don't see that allows you to force cards in your opponent's deck to screw up their synergy, I feel like Blizzard is forcing a synergistic choice down our throats. There are going to be people who are like, well, I only play Even Priest, for example. Like, Even Priest is going to be the archetype. It's going to be Even Priest OTK combo. Take your OTK Priest that you've been playing lately, and now realize, hey, I can play a, what's that Drake that gains health based on your cards? And instead
Twilight Drake.
Yeah, I can play a Twilight Drake that comes onto the board with 18 health.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the card in. Yeah, I mean, I've got the card in front of me. It's a 5 mana 4/4 beast, Glitter Moth, Battle Cry. If your deck has only odd cost cards, double 3 times, double the health of your other minions.
Yeah.
I think that's potentially. I mean, that's a lot more of a problem than Callus. was.
Okay, so maybe not the Drake, because that only has 1 health. But let's say Humongous Razor Leaf.
Yep.
Like, okay, I'm gonna slap down a 416.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, is Silence gonna take off that extra? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many cards that just and on top of that, now your hero power is either upgraded or discounted. I can't remember which. It's if there isn't some sort of card that's going to be an expansion, then there's going to be one 2 expansions down the road. You know, like how Jade Druid was a massive problem, and it took them 2 expansions to put in Skulking Geist.
Yeah.
It's just it seems like it's going to be such a massive problem, and I hate the fact that Blizzard is forcing a synergy upon us. Like, there was no forced synergy with Pirates, and everyone hated Pirate Warrior, right?
Yeah.
There was no forced synergy there. That just was a synergy that people built looking at the cards and playing the cards. With those legendaries that currently exist, the even and odds. So one's King Gen Greymane and the other's the Dragon. I don't even whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. With those two, they will inherently, just by the fact that they exist, if someone gets that legendary, people will build synergistically around them. You don't need other overpowered as hell cards to support that archetype.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, predicting what the meta is gonna be like is always it's pretty difficult. But one thing for sure, and I can see that we're just about to run out of time, so I'll make this my last little Hearthstone rant. Is that Hearthstone's gonna look very, very different when this new expansion drops, because the cards that are rotating out, like, it's not like, obviously it's a lot of cards, but there's a lot of really meta-defining cards that are being rotated out, and also the ones that are being Hall of Famed. Ice Block, anybody? I mean, Ice Block is no longer going to be a thing. But the one thing that everyone's noticed is that Q Block is only losing 1 card, which is Mistress of Mixtures.
Yep, so which really won't hurt it at all.
Not really, no, not at all. So any decks that are going to spring out are going to have to do okay against Q Block, or Q Block is going to be tier 1 for a long time. Yeah, but it is going to be a very interesting time when this new expansion drops. I mean, Hearthstone's going to look. I mean, it really can, like so many decks are gone. Like Evolve Shaman's gone. Evolve Shaman's gone completely. Barnes is going out. Ice Block is going out. I mean, I could go on, but we don't have enough time. It's going to look different.
We're going to have you back on when it's almost time for the expansion. I've got to get you back on when we have a better idea of what the cards are, and I'm going to make my prediction then. But I will say, if you go back and look at the podcast where we talked about Kobolds and Catacombs, I said, this is the first expansion in a while that I'm not pre-ordering. I don't like it. It's going to be an RNG fiesta. And do you remember what... do you remember I said what class was going to be the killer class to beat throughout this meta?
I believe it was Warlock, I think.
Priest. I said Priest. I said we might see a resurgence. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I was wrong about Voidlord. I didn't think Voidlord was going to be such a meta-defining card. But okay, but I said Priest was going to be the overpowered class, and I think I was right.
Yeah, I mean, well, Priest is. I mean, in Priest's defense, though, I mean, I think there's like 4 or 5 distinct Priest decks right now that are all like legend viable. So, I mean, there's a lot of Priests, but there's also a lot of variety within the class as well, which I think is that's something that's something worth noting, I would say.
All right, man. Well, listen, this has been great. Sorry we had the technical issue right in the middle there. I think what I'll do is I'll try to stitch everything together before I upload this to YouTube, so hopefully it's in one part. And
yeah.
we'll definitely check back in with you, when we have a better idea of the cards.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for bearing with me through all the technical issues, including this green screen bullshit, which you can't see, but the people at home have. And you know how we end this. We do the thing. we say goodnight, and then we drop a host on another streamer. So, Cal, do the thing. What's the last word, my friend?
Pray to our Lord and Savior Yogg Saron that Blizzard don't fuck up this expansion.
All right, your Lord and Savior Yogg Saron. Please, 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 please follow my good friend Cal over at twitch.tv/Winbykayo. Check him out in the mornings Eastern Standard Time or during the day British Standard Time. He's a fantastic streamer, absolutely one of my favorite people on Twitch. Do that, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Rev is logging out of the system. Please stand by for a raid on another Twitch streamer. Establishing connection now. Please hold.